You can't kill me, mother, swear word. You can't kill me, mother, swear word. You will try, but you will die. 'Cause you can't kill me, mother, swear word. Check this out. AZ Gaff card, which comes as standard with every single deck of MADISON Schneider remedies. And in this video I'm going to teach you how to create and perform this beautiful little miracle. Hi, I'm Daniel Madison. Welcome back to the Sunroom. Welcome to the Madhouse. These are the remedies playing cards, MADISON Schneider remedies. I'm sure that you're familiar with these playing cards by now, especially from my previous video, a few of my Instagram posts. The link to these are available right now, is in the video description. These playing cards are packed with secrets, packed with tricks that you're going to be able to baffle and amaze people with, that can only be achieved with this deck of playing cards. So in this video I'm going to share one of the biggest tricks that comes as standard with all these playing cards, which is the Angle 0 Gaff card, which allows you to create an impossible object which you can allow your participant to keep and remember you by. And we chose to use the Ace of Spades. I'll talk a little bit about that. This Gaff card goes back, before I even begin, I brought Charlie into the sunroom, obviously, and he's up there on the shelf by the windows, by the trees, and the birds in the area, they're not happy. They've been banging away at the window trying to get through. I've scared them away for now, but if they come back, I'm going to point the cameras up because it's wild. They just fly in and start attacking the glass. Yo, so the birds are back. Check it, can you see that? Man, I brought Charlie into the room, into the sunroom of course, and the birds are not happy, man. The birds in this area, look at this guy. Trying to steal Charlie's food, man. What are you playing at? What are you playing at, sucker? Yeah, get out of here. Don't worry, Charlie, I'll protect you. You're gonna get one of these with every deck of remedies. This comes as standard. So this is what it looks like, the Gaff card. It's basically the Ace of Spades, but on the back of it is a torn off corner of the very card of the Ace of Spades, but it's printed on the back. And the idea is we're going to create an impossible object. Now I know a lot of people will already know what this trick is, and every time I produce a deck of playing cards there's a whole group of people begging me to print this in the deck. And so many other people, by the way, so many other people ask if they can print this in their decks. You don't need to ask me. Right, if you feel like you need my permission, then my permission is yes, 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 because what a beautiful trick. And what a beautiful trick to gift somebody from just buying a deck of playing cards. So as standard, when you get the remedies, link in description, when you get the remedies, every single deck has one of these in. And it'd be beautiful to see this in other people's decks as well. I'll give a few links in this video description to some of the decks that already have this Gaff card in, and they're all illusionist playing cards. I think the first Kings deck had it. I know one of the Rounders decks did too. Maybe the Gamblers, MADISON Gamblers, anybody remember those? I'll find out.
And I want to take the corner here. I actually want to put it right here on the back of the card. Hopefully you could see that. Camera down, restore. Hey, we'll see you again next time. Have a good night.
I'll link them all, but right now the most updated one, the most current one is available with this deck. So essentially you're going to be creating an impossible object, which means something that doesn't make sense, something that's surreal. The beautiful thing about this is your participant gets to keep it. What a wonderful thing, what a truly beautiful moment of magic. The best thing about this is that when you've done the work, there's nothing to hide, there's nothing to get rid of. This is almost zero slides. I say almost. the idea of pretending to tear the corner, that's the slight, that's the work, and that's arguably not even work. David Blaine, FANX, David gave me an idea to make this trick even more beautiful. Also Michael Weber, FANK, another idea that I'm going to show you in this video with this playing card. And that is why you see this on my table, little razor blade. Please, please, please find like a scalpel or whatever the correct tool is, a safety cutting blade. Why, Charlie, why can't I think of the right word? Is it called an X-Acto knife or something? I don't know, I'll find it and I'll link it in the video description, but this is all I had. So I'm going to use a razor blade. To begin with, the concept of this, we're going to tear off this corner of the ace of spades and then rest it on the back of the playing card, and then that becomes an impossible object. So you're tearing the corner off, you're putting it on the back of this card, you ask somebody else, or hold on, you ask the participant, hold on to this playing card, don't let the corner slide off. Now they're holding everything, there's nothing to hide, and it's just a matter of timing when they realize it's an impossible object that they can keep. It's such a beautifully visual thing, and thanks to Michael and David, they can feel the magic too. Let's start with the corner itself, because one of the biggest questions that people kept asking me when they first saw this was, what if the participant, what if they really wanted to backtrack, that all they have to do is tear the card in half and then hold the corner to hold the torn part of the card to the corner and see if it matches them. They're going to find that it doesn't perfectly match. In 20 years, I've not been asked that question. I've not been questioned about that. I've never seen that happen. The only person who's going to do that is a magician, right? And you're not going to show this to a magician. You're not. This is going to be an impossible souvenir that you're going to give to a participant. Magicians are obviously going to question that. Nonetheless, I did bring this into my thinking, into the creative process, the creative design of this gaff, the way that we're going to prepare this. Luckily for me, I've got two of these which I'm going to use as a guide. One of them is going to be a guide, one of them is going to be the gaff, and the other way around. If you're just using one of these playing cards, there's going to be a little bit of guesswork, but I'm going to show you a few things you can do. So first of all, if you've just got one of these cards, take one of the jokers. Beautiful joker, by the way. Nice to see Charlie there. Take one of the jokers and hold it like this, perfectly over the ace of spades, and I'm going to mark the actual joker with the razor blade here, just where the corner of the card ends, there and there. I can just see where they end, so that's where the rip's going to begin, there and there. This is where the tear is going to be, this is where the rip is going to be. I'm going to take the ace of spades, and it's going to be the top index that we need to tear. I'm simply going to hold it against this joker. Now I know my guide is here. Do the exact same thing. Mark one there. Mark two here. And notice also I'm not being too accurate. Like it's not the biggest problem. So now that I've marked the ace of spades, now I know where to rip. I know where I need to rip. All I've got to do now when I'm ripping from here to here, look at the back design and kind of try and follow that pattern. You can see that the top corner of that index is the rip, the damage. We can see it looking down, right? So that means, because I can see a little damage looking down, that means when I turn a card over like this, that needs to be an up rip, meaning I need to pull this part of the card upwards. So I'm going to start the rip here. That creates the same kind of image. In fact, I can use this as a guide, but for those people who don't have to, this is why I'm doing it like this. Now I'm going to turn over like this and see again. And you see that damage kind of disappears until towards the end. That means the rest of this is ripped down. I know my guides, I know my points is there and there. And if I keep looking as a guide, I can see and try and get the rip exactly as it is. A little bit of confidence just does the rest. Like, I don't want it to feel or look too careful. I just need to get rid of this now. We don't need this anymore, right? We're never going to see that again, because the only place in the spectator's mind, the participant's mind, they think they're going to see that corner again is on the back of this playing card. So this is our prepared gaff, our prepared impossible object, which is the angle 0 gaff card. Before we get into the performance, I'm going to use the razor blade and I'm going to bring this to life and make it feel like real magic. Now, this comes from a session that I had with Weber and David Blaine. And David's idea is to take the razor blade and we're going to score around the edges of the ace of spades the whole way around, very gently, very, very gently. The same up the outside of this card. And without me even explaining, before I even explain, you can see why I'm doing this and what this is going to achieve. Corner might be a little bit tricky. The key is to just really take your time. So I've been very, very careful around the edges of the ace here. Now, all I'm trying to achieve at this point is when I rub my finger over the sides, I can feel a difference. That's all I want to achieve. I don't want to create any folds, any bends, because that'll cause the image of the front of the playing card, that'll cause an effect on the front of the playing card, and we don't want that. And I'm going to go over the shape of it. And if you notice that my blade is at a bit of an angle, it's kind of going into the playing cards almost sideways. And that feels pretty good already, but because it's a torn edge and I want it to feel like that, I'm going to take the blade and all the way from the top to the bottom, execute tiny little scores, tiny little nicks like this. Now when I feel this playing card, it feels like you can feel the shape of it with no question. When you look at the front of it, it's unaffected. There's no effect whatsoever to the front because of how gentle I was. If you can see the shape of this on the back, then you've kind of failed, because the point where you hold the card up and you're going to tear it, you don't want anything to be seen here. You don't want any discrepancies. So this gaff is ready to go. Now I'm going to move the cameras a little bit closer so you can see this very close up and as carefully and closely as possible. And I'm going to teach you the execution of the performance of the angle 0 gaff card. An unspoken common rule of thumb in Magic with playing cards, close-up deception with playing cards, is to never use the ace of spades as the card in a solo effect, as the force card, as a card that somebody's going to think of. Magicians end up finding themselves in that position naturally. Like when you say, I want you to think of a playing card, not the ace of spades, not the queen of hearts. You find yourself naturally eliminating the most common and the most obvious playing cards. Like imagine if you said to somebody, I want you to think of a playing card, and then in the end it turned out to be ace of spades. Everybody would be like, oh, for F swear word's sake, because it's such a common and obvious card that obviously the trick worked. You know what I mean? You kind of find that way on your own as a magician, that you stay away from the ace of spades. In this case, Daniel and I wanted to use this because it's a souvenir. It's the ultimate souvenir of the deck. It's got our names on it, it says the remedies, and it's got this really poignant line on there. We cannot recover from who we are. When you tear the ace and then repair it, it's almost symbolic of that. You cannot recover from the damage, but we kind of have in a way, in a very magical way. And that's the whole poetry, I guess, of what we were trying to achieve with this playing card. From my experiences and from my performances, a little bit like if you go back to a video that I made called Rip, a Torn and Restored, playing cards where you put it in their hands and it's instantly repaired. The lead into that trick would usually just be me saying, look, I have this ripped up playing card, and that's how the trick begins. So you're presenting a damaged playing card beforehand. It saves you so much time in performance, and it cuts straight to the impact of a magic trick, and also saves you a lot of work, like a lot of DIY work in the background. The reason that I ended up doing that is because I figured that if you lose all those moments that don't mean anything, then you can heighten the impact moment in the trick. You don't need to involve them all in the, oh, pick any card Now let's rip it up. I'll fold it 4 times and rip it up. Now we have 4 pieces. You don't necessarily need all that. You have the proof because they can hold it. They can hold 4 torn pieces of a playing card. There's the proof for them. We didn't need to show them the process of that because they believe it because it's there. Then I can take those pieces and put them together, and it makes this long story into a short condensed story that allows such a bigger impact because it happened quite quick. Sometimes it's a shame to sacrifice bringing them into the story and having a longer experience with them, but in many cases, magicians, I'm sure most people can relate to this, performing magicians, you don't have much time sometimes, especially when it's your first trick. Like you want to impact people like this. So that's kind of one of those tricks, and that's kind of why I was led to that. The same thing with Angle Zero. I found myself doing the same thing with this very Gaff card. I cut out the idea of having to force the Ace of Spades to justify why it's the Ace of Spades. We don't really need it. You know, it can be just any playing card. The whole point of this is you can do magic with any playing card. I like the idea Jack D, the comedian, said to David Copperfield, yeah, if you can really float, go do it in the car park. You know, and obviously you can do that. I like the idea of, with playing cards, if I just present this and say, look, here's what I can do, then we start to realize and we can open our eyes to how redundant it is, the whole process when you say, oh, pick any card, don't let me see. For one reason, I don't like the whole magician vibe or coming across as a magician. My idea is that, oh, I met somebody strange today, he showed me something strange. No, I met a magician. So all the things I can eliminate in that process of what might put in somebody's mind, oh, he's a magician, I get rid of him. And this is one of those things, and it's one of the biggest lessons I learned in forcing playing cards and having playing cards selected with certain tricks, especially this one. You don't need to have the card forced. If you want to force the Ace of Spades on them, they return it to the deck, or they return it to you and you do a top switch, whatever, you know, you can do that. Obviously you can do that. For me, I found it if I just take this card and hold it like this and just hold it covering the corner, then it's kind of transmitting this message that it really doesn't matter which playing card it is. And it doesn't. In their mind, it doesn't. Because if you backtrack now with this idea in mind, if it was specifically the Ace of Spades, why would I have had to have gone, here, choose any playing card, don't let me see. Or choose any playing card, which one is it? Why would you need to do that? It doesn't make sense. Because then it suggests that it had to specifically be the Ace of Spades. I hope that makes sense, and I hope you don't think I'm just talking nonsense now, because it's a very important message. Because if you think about all of your other card tricks with this same idea in mind, do you need to say, hey, here, pick a card? Do you need to do that? I don't think you do in most cases. This is one of those things. The only thing to think about, you might want to, if you've been doing tricks all night long for somebody and you end with this one, then there's no need to justify that the Ace of Spades was ever a complete full card. There's no need to justify that. If it's the first trick or a new trick or like your second trick in, you might want to justify the Ace of Spades. You might want to just justify it. And this is one of the reasonings that Daniel Schneider and I brought into the creative development of this very Gaff playing card. This is a talking point because of the message on it, because of what it looks like. And that's my way into this trick. I present this playing card as a conversational piece about the deck itself. Here, look, so remedies, Daniel and I, this line is very kind of meaningful to us, and then we go from there. Now I can switch without any sleight of hand. I can come back to this card a few moments later and say, here, I'm going to show you something with this very meaningful card. Now I'm all ready to go. So for those people who don't know, basically what you're doing is pretending to tear the corner off. So this looks like a full card. I do this. Now it looks like I'm holding the corner, and now it's gone. So that's the essential trick. With this idea, we're going to tear the corner off. I'm going to balance it on the back of the playing card like this, and then say, hold the card like this, just hold the card like this to my participant. Don't let the corner piece fall off. We'll get to that in a moment. The performance itself, the execution of the tear, is a very delicate and a very specific thing. When I'm here, I need to bear in mind that my hand, I want my hand to end up like this, So we work backwards. So this is the shape of my hand. It comes down more over the top, but I need it to look natural. So I'm holding the card just like this. My fingers are relaxed. I bring it forward. I'm going to tear forward like this so that you can see this difference now. And then back, and then get to this point. At this point, I'm going to invite my participant to pull the playing card. I'm pinching the rest of this card just between finger 3 and my thumb, and when they pull down, I'm holding on really tight. So when they pull down, it feels like they broke this card away from the piece, right? It feels like that, there's no question about that. The noise, if you want to create more noise, you can put little tears in the card, into this card. It damages the card, it compromises the visual, the beauty of it a little bit. I usually rely on my thumb making that noise, because you can recreate the ripping sound by just dragging it against the edge of your thumb. Please, Jay Sankey, I love you, but please don't anybody out there do this. Right? Don't do it. It doesn't work. It could never work. I don't know what audience you're going to be performing that to. Once you've done the tear and you get to this point, you're going to ask them to hold their fingers out like this, and they're going to rip the rest. They're going to pull it away. This is going to feel really dangerous, because look what we can see. We can see the piece. So I'll show you from the back what this looks like. So hold here, forward, forward, back. And now I tell them to pull here. So they pull, I let it get pulled out of my hand. Now the participant is stood there like this, so they pull it down like this, and they're stood there holding the gaff, right? They're stood there holding it, which is a beautiful moment, especially when they think back and they remember the trick back. What a beautiful moment in magic. So they're holding the gaff, right? And this is what they can see, and this is what we can see. We can see the gaff in their hand, and we might be a little bit scared by it. Trust me, it's a little bit of a worrying moment when it happens. I'm stood here like this, I've got the fake piece in my hand. In the trick angle Z, you're just going to make that piece vanish, and then wow, where does it end up? You know, let's not get into that. In this case, we're going to keep hold of it. They believe it's there, they've just felt it being, they've seen it. They saw it torn, they heard it torn. They did the final tear, they can see me holding it. It's all up here. They're holding the playing card. They're holding the playing card like this. Maybe not with that face, but they're holding the playing card. I take the playing card back with my now free hand. I have the corner here. So I take it from them like this. Imagine you're the participant. I take it back from you like this. As I'm turning the card face down like this, I'm already placing this corner on the back. So I'm going like this, and now it's on the back. And my finger's holding it in place as my thumb holds the card underneath. And it looks like I've just put that corner piece on the back of the card. Now I'm going to hold it like, I'm going to be very careful with my actions at this point. Now I'm going to do this. Now I'm going to pass it into my hand like this, holding it on the corner. I'm going to demonstrate what I want them to do. I'm instructing them what to do right now. So I hold it like this, and I'm very careful. I'm very delicate. And I hand it over like this, very careful. The more careful I act, the more like, oh no, it's gonna fall. Oh. I mean, it's not a big deal, you know. If the corner falls off, who cares? Just pick it back up. But if I act like that, worried kind of that it's gonna fall off, they're gonna do the same thing when they take the card. So I'm instructing them to go, oh. Right? So now when they take the card, I hand it over, they're gonna pinch it at the corner like this, and they're gonna think that that's their responsibility. So we've now given them a responsibility that's gonna distract them from what they're holding. They think their responsibility at this point is to make sure the corner doesn't fall off. At this point, you're clean, you're free, do whatever you want. What I love to do in my performance, which might not make sense to a lot of performers, when they're stood here like this, looking down on it, I'll walk away. And I don't mean that in the really arrogant sense that you might have seen a few magicians on TV do, but it's the most beautiful thing. It's the most perfect thing to do, is to just walk away. Or to just carry on, like pick up your drink, have a drink, and start a conversation with the person next to you. Because then the person's with the card's gonna be like, what's he doing? And then they're gonna inspect. Then, whoa, it's a bit bright. They've got nothing to do at that point other than be curious, other than inspect, because they're left with nothing to do. So they're gonna be like, well, what? They're gonna look close. They're gonna see the edges that we've torn into it, that we cut into it. So they're gonna think it's real for a moment. Then they're gonna discover on their own. If you let them discover this on their own terms, it is the most beautiful thing. At a push, if you wanted to perform this, when they're holding it like this, say, I want you to tip the card into your other hand, the corner of it. I want you to tip it off into your other hand. So when they do it, it just doesn't work. It doesn't come off, right? That point, it's all in their hand and they're realizing what's happened. I've seen some people do the whole wave your hands over the top and it merges. At this point, it's kind of up to you how to perform it in your own way, but my perfect thing to do is to just move on, just move to the next person or go get a drink. So yeah, that's the AZ Gaff card. I'm going to stop this video here because it's such a long video and I apologize for that. If you do this already, if you've already got performances of this, if you pick up these playing cards and do it, tag me because I want to see them. I'll give my feedback 100%. Find everybody who tags me in the tricks I do. All I ask, make sure you subscribe. You'll get the notification bell going ding 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 every time I drop a new tutorial. On that note, I'm out of here. I'm Daniel Madison. See you next time. Charlie, is this guy after your food? Maybe he thinks you're his mum. He's gonna have a huge shock when he looks between your legs, Charlie.